I hope you are doing great. As a part of this lecture, we'll need to understand columns in DataFrames. Before we really venture into that, we'll try to recollect a couple of important aspects. They are, what is DataFrame? We have already seen what is DataFrame in our previous lectures. If you recollect, DataFrame is a collection of rows and columns in a very simple manner. But if you want to go beyond that, DataFrame consists of series of records of type row. We have already seen this, but I am trying to revise this so that we understand it better. That represent a computation expression that can be performed on an individual record. What is a computation expression? We'll be seeing that as a part of this particular lecture. Now, having understood what is DataFrame in a layman terms and also in more of a scientific terms, let us move on and look at one more important aspect before we drill down deep into the columns. One more important aspect is, what is schema? Can I just pause a video for a bit and try to recollect what is schema? Schema defines the name as well as the type of data in each column. So you can see we have a name and also type. If you take an example here, for example, now we have this particular data frame with around 3 columns, right? Name, subject and marks. Now the schema defines the name is the column name, the name is the column name, and the type of the data what it is holding is of string type. Then we do have a second column which is subject, and the type of the data it is holding is string. In a similar manner, we have a third column which is a marks, and the type of the data it is holding is int. This is what schema is. Now that we just revised a couple of important aspects, what is data frame, what is schema, let us move on and understand columns in a bit more detail. If I ask you a simple question, what is column in general, what would be your answer? The answer is, the column is nothing but a set of data values, all of a single type in a table. Let us take an example here. So this is a data frame with 2 columns. It has 2 columns. Now, if you look at the column here, it is a set of data values. One column is of employee. It is a set of data values of a single type. In this case, it can be only either string or a int, one of that. In the other case, if you see, the employee name is one more column which has only string values, and also, as we know, the column runs vertically. This is a simple way of understanding what is column. Now that we understood what is column in general, is the column in Spark same or different? Can you just think of, incidentally, the column in Spark is more or less same as that of what are the spreadsheet you have seen or Pandas data frame you have seen. Column in Spark is similar to the columns in a spreadsheet. You can see these are the columns in a spreadsheet, or you have a columns in Pandas data frame. It is similar. Now, if you want to drill down what is column, columns are logical constructions. Means if you have a column, the way we have seen the employee ID, like they are kind of a logical constructions that simply represented a value. So there is a value here. Columns are logical constructions that simply represent a value computed on a per record basis by a means of an expression. Now that we understood what is column in a bit more detail, to have a real value in a column, we need to have a row. Without row, can we have a column? Not really. And to have a row, we need to have a data frame. So in a way, they are interrelated. To have a column, you need a row. To have a row, you need to have a data frame. How do we refer the columns? We can refer the columns in different ways. Two important ways we can refer the columns or by a call and column. These are the two different ways. Why is it so important? You will figure it out in some time. Because what happens as a part of the Spark, we need to manipulate the columns left and right as a part of our data analysis in Spark. That is the reason how do we refer the columns is also one of the very important aspects. Either you can refer them as a call, C-O-L call, or C-O-L-U-M-N column. In most of the cases, instead of typing 3 more letters, we end up using only C-O-L. Now that we understood how do we refer the columns, let us take an example. Before we really start using the reference of a column, we have to import them by typing from PySpark.SQL functions import call or column. Means these are the functions within SQL, PySpark.SQL. Let us say, assuming that you have a data frame, the name of the column is some column name. Anyway, we'll be taking an example in a bit. For now, either you can refer the column, this particular column as COL, open brace, close brace, and also within the quotes. And the same thing we can refer by COLUMN column with the column name. This is how you can refer. Assuming that you have created a data frame. You can also use a below method. For example, in this case, the name of the column is count. This is the name of the column. This is the data frame, and you can refer the name of the column with the 2 square braces. And why do we really need this? Whenever you want to do some joins and all those things, you need to know how do you refer the columns. That is how you refer the columns. Now that we understood what is a column and how do we refer the columns, how do we really access them? There are a couple of ways. One of the ways, when you have created a data frame, just take a data frame name and go ahead and use a function called print schema. It will go ahead and give us a column. In this case, we have 3 columns. That is destination country name, origin country name, and also count. This is one of the method to know what are the columns in a particular data frame. And one more method would be, before even you create the data frame, we can say spark.read.format, and we can provide the format of a file and then load. And in the end, use a columns function or a method to access the columns. This is how you can access the columns without even creating the data frame. We can see all these things as a part of a practical session now. What I am doing is, this is the name of the data frame, that is first data frame, because this is the first time in a way we are trying to create the data frame to work on the columns. Now we need to have a Spark session enabled and then read, then format JSON, and we have to provide the path where our file is stored. Let's go ahead and create one particular data frame. Let me see what is the path of the file. I do have here, this is where I have stored my file. So I'm copying it here, and then I need to copy the name of the file as well. So let me go ahead and copy the name of the file. Yes, I am all set to create the first data frame for explaining the columns. Let me go and execute this code as a part of the Spark. Let me go and execute this here. So the first data frame is getting created by using the JSON file. So let me go ahead and see what are the contents of this particular data frame by using a show. Okay, we created a first data frame with 3 columns, and this is how you can see the columns as well. And also, as I indicated, you can see the columns by just executing print schema on this data frame. You can see it, right? We have 3 columns, and also we can see each of the column name and also what is the data type of that particular column. And one more way of accessing the columns, as I indicated, without even creating the data frame, what you can do is, don't even assign this particular thing to the data frame. I'll just take out this guy and I will go ahead and columns. Let me go ahead and copy this and show you Yeah, you can see these are the three columns. Okay, destination country name, origin country name, and also the count. We have created the first data frame by using a Spark session and by using a JSON file. And in order to see the columns, you can just see in couple of ways. Either show data frame, you'll be able to see the columns and also some of the data within that. Or the next way is print schema, or without even creating a data frame, you can just go ahead and use the columns method and try to see which are the columns. And one more thing what I want to show is, let us say you have a now first data frame. Let me first data frame and can go ahead and say count. As I was saying, this is also one more way of accessing the columns, because I'm trying to access a column in this data frame. Okay, you can see this is one more way. So instead of saying dist count, you can also say dest origin country. Okay, you'll see what is the type of the string. So these are the different ways of accessing the columns. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you.